I'm Chance with We Sell Brokenbow. Appreciate you tuning in.
See, you wouldn't be able to tell this ain't a dirt bike until I hop off it and then give you a walk around and you're like, man, that's a bagger, that's a hog. Definitely on some street tires here. Just past West Fork Subdivision, so now I'm less than a mile from Highway 259. And we'll get back on Highway 259 and into a few more of my favorite cabin subdivisions up here in Brokenbow and Hochatown. Let's do it. But see, this road ain't too bad. Can't be too bad if a Harley's cruising 40, 45 down it, right? All right, here we are back to Highway 259. Right on time. And clear a gap. We're gonna shoot it. All right, we have Three Creeks Reserve and that other subdivision. Here we have Three Creeks Reserve on the right, on the east side. I would say it's a cool subdivision. They don't really market a lot, and in my opinion, properly. You'll actually find, if you do some deep diving on Zillow and Realtor.com, they have a few of their tracks, like 20, 40, and I want to say a couple 40-acre tracks even, that they had obviously intended on developing, that now they're considering selling to builders. So Buffalo Grill on the right, Janet's Treasure Chest, Broken Banana. We have Hochatown, which is really the greater complex where they have Pressa Italian food, and a coffee shop, a forest store right there on the left. Pressa Italian is, I want to say, the only Italian place up here in Brokenbow, Hochatown, and definitely my favorite. Weed and liquor, that's not what you came here for. Beaver's Bend State Park on the right. We'll do a drive-through tour of that another time. Billboard for Naaman's Barbecue. It's on up here a couple more miles to Sugarberry Road. Naaman's Barbecue, probably one of my favorite chicken sandwiches. A good consistent chicken breast sandwich. I don't really do heavy barbecue the middle of the week, or really hardly any times. You know, I try to keep my pork consumption down to a minimum, frankly. You know, periodically, if it's all that's on the menu, okay. But nonetheless, awesome chicken sandwich there. You'll see here a ton of construction occurring. You'll see this construction occurring rapidly, road construction to expand Highway 259, almost imminent. And Gallery 259, this art gallery, Gallery 259 on the left, on the west here. Coming up on the Choctaw Casino and Resort. Coming up on the Choctaw Casino and Resort on the right, on the east side of Highway 259 here. It's our folks Yeti Spaghetti opening up his joint and getting started here. Give him a little love. McCurtain County Bank, in case you want to come up here and apply for a loan for $1 million or $2 million on one of these cabins. All right, the 259A loop, which would take you over the dam and over the lake, all of that. One of my favorite cabin subdivisions is down that road, that 259A, that northern end of the loop, this subdivision called Cordillera. So here we have this shopping center and commercial plaza from a couple little bars and dollar store and gym and restaurant and storage stuff here on the left. Hochatown Saloon on the right. Old Hochatown Road here on the right we're passing. Another commercial plaza here. Old Westtown Toys and Gifts. Ice cream. Hochatown Zoo and Rescue. Corn dogs. All right, sun's going down, passing Camp Ranch Road on the left, the west. So, although it says Hochatown Volunteer Fire, I believe that we've, due to the recent incorporation and official township of Hochatown being established, I believe that we now have an official fire department. I guess maybe they're setting up another location. I'm not sure exactly where that's going to be, but I have enough to keep track of up here. Yeehaw, brother. All right, the Easy Mart, 2 Easy Marts up here, one on the right, one on the left. Got our deputies and deputas there, making sure folks are minding. Got a Bendigo's, one of my favorite restaurants up here. Undoubtedly, one of the best restaurants. Have a phenomenal location, phenomenal place, phenomenal staff, phenomenal food, great menu, awesome food prep. I mean, you can just tell they care for the food. Girls Gone Wine here. You have Grateful Head on the left. Beaver's Bend Brewery on the right, along with Gutter Chaos and the newest opening of Papa's Tacos, a little taco Mexican joint. Here we are coming up on Carson Creek on the right and coming up on Sugarberry on the left, which is actually where we're going to turn. So this would be my second, and again, not necessarily in an order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm kind of just running around the way that's convenient for me here. Kind of running you from, one end of town to the other, kind of bouncing around, just enjoying showing y'all around. But here we are turning left onto Sugarberry on this POV ride along I'm giving y'all, passing Naaman's Barbecue. That's the most significant thing there. Coming down Sugarberry, so we have on the left, have a few different subdivisions around here, right, that kind of come together along this Sugarberry, if you will. We have Sunrise Ridge on the left, Timber Creek Trails on the right, and then on the northern end of Timber Creek Trails, I'm going to lump all 3 of these subdivisions together, and that would be Eagle Mountain. There's a few different phases of Eagle Mountain. I'm not going to show you through all of Sunrise or Timber Creek Trails or Eagle Mountain, but they're all in this general vicinity, shared together here. And it's definitely refreshing running on asphalt as often as I do gravel. Sold one on Ashwood some time ago, sold one down here on Sugarberry recently. I've been in virtually half of these cabins. I'm going to go left here just for kicks. I did not have my route planned for you necessarily. I'm just showing you around. Infinity Pines. It's a cool cabin there. Having asphalt all the way to your doorstep is definitely a selling point on the short-term rental market and the sale market. Definitely a selling point. Not a lot of these cabin subdivisions have asphalt, much less to a handful of the cabin's front door steps. So definitely some big old cabins. I've shown that one before. That one's a cool looking cabin. Howdy, howdy. Palo Verde, sold one on Palo Verde before. Plus, a couple of these other roads I've been up and down or went by. This will be about as good of a point as any to turn around. All right. So again, this is Sunrise Ridge for the most part on the right of me, and Timber Creek Trails on the left of me. A lot of really good looking cabins up and down here. So, by and large, I would say some of these subdivisions, like this subdivision, have overwhelmingly good performing cabins. So a subdivision like this might be on the upper end of what I'm about to say, where generally of all of the cabin and rental cabins, so to speak, rental cabins on the market for sale right now, the top 100 of 400, if you were to pay the list price and put 25% down, in my estimations, it's just the upper quarter, the top performing 100 that are going to break even if you put 25% down. Meaning, if you're only putting 25% down, that's a respectable chunk of change. But just the financed amount and what that mortgage is, and then taking into consideration a property manager's fee and the expenses, et cetera, all in all, 300 of the 400 probably aren't breaking totally even. And so here's the thing. Folks are still buying these cabins. A lot of times, even if they know that, hey, it's going to not totally break even, because frankly, there's just so many people in North Dallas that are upwardly mobile, have this high income, a lot of liquid cash, and, looking to possibly depreciate a property, and a property like this that they can depreciate in an accelerated fashion per their CPA and offset their income, and bet that over a 5 to 10 year run, the value is going to increase and the debt's going to be paid down, and they're going to have enjoyed it worth, 10, 50, 100 grand, come up here and, so that's, there's definitely a lot of pros. One of the obvious downsides to owning a cabin is you don't come up here and get to experience, a ton of them. You have just one cabin that you're, unless, for example, it's booked and maybe it's, paying for or offsetting your expense to come stay in another. But let's be real. I mean, this is not the only place a cabin owner is like coming to vacation, right? So it's probably not Brokenbow is probably not where they are, multiple times a month. Maybe they're up here every other month for an extended stay, a 3-4 day. That's kind of what I see on average. Here's a couple listings of ours on this Redberry. I'm giving you a POV drive up to a couple of our listings here. Utilizing our new tools with GoPro and our audio equipment, et cetera. We're getting busy up here in order to show you about the Brokenbow and Hochatown real estate market. I'm going to ask for forgiveness and just use their driveway. Give you a nice close-up of a beautiful cabin here. I'll pay them some compliments and use their driveway in exchange. Pay them some compliments on Holly Creek. Go check out Holly Creek Cabin in Timber Creek Trails, y'all. It's a cool contemporary look. All right, so there's a really cool aspect about this offering that we have here on Redberry is that these cabins are adjacent, and there's a private cul-de-sac leading back there to the one smaller cabin. So 2 adjacent cabins next door to each other. Awesome opportunity there. Holler at me and we'll see about getting you the best price possible. All right, we're still recording. Sun's going to be setting in the next hour. Yeah, we'll go up where we came. Definitely be doing more videos like this. You know, it is coming into beginning of November, and so frankly, weather's going to be getting colder and more rain. But we'll be getting out on the bike as much as we can and showing you a cool POV like this, and perhaps an even more extended POV ride through some of our favorite subdivisions up here. So, you know, this first series will be our first, let's call it 5 subdivisions. That actually is going to be like 6, 7, or 8 subdivisions, but I'm lumping them all together in one here and there. We're going to do a no cop, no stop. Pickleberry, good old Pickleberry, good opportunity to turn right. And so this, for the most part, on the right of us here is, as well as what I was driving through just a minute or 2 ago, was Timber Creek Trails. Timber Creek Trails. So here we are coming down this hill gradually, and then it'll kind of drop down. Cool view going down that hill. Awesome. Magnificent, lavish cabins around here. And they just go on and on and on and on and on. I know this place like the back of my hand, y'all. So at this point, you know, if you're undecided about the market, want to know more about the actual pros and cons, would love to talk it out with you. Give me a holler. Give me a holler. Directly, text, email, phone call, whatever's more convenient for you. Seriously. I will talk you out of buying up here before I talk you into buying. What do I mean by that? Well, you know, it's kind of along the lines of folks asking, you know, generally, is it a good time to buy up here? You know, is this a good place to buy? Well, it might be a good place and might be a good time for one person, but not another, right? I mean, just all of the obvious reasons that kind of go into that, from, you know, the personal use, utilization, the actual risk and threshold that someone has for, you know, frankly, the risk of utilizing the cash and the debt, et cetera. You know, is this your first time having a rental property, much less first time having a short-term rental? Are you self-managing? You know, is there margin in the numbers of, you know, XYZ cabin that you're looking for to, you know, hire a property manager? You know, kind of just, I'll help you dissect all of it. I'll help you look through all of the aspects of buying, owning, and in time selling your cabin up here. So, you know, my past 4 or 5 years have a lot of insight up here in Brokenbow and Hochatown to share with you. So here we are in Eagle Mountain now. Have transitioned from Sunrise Ridge to Timber Creek Trails to Eagle Mountain. So Eagle Mountain's a little older, just by a couple years, not significantly, but, you know, again, more mature, a larger subdivision ultimately with, you know, multiple phases than Sunrise. I sold the folks that cabin that bought that one back 2-3 years ago. I think they're looking for a larger cabin now. All right. Again, awesome to have asphalt. I'm going to show you a good portion of the asphalt that there is up here in Brokenbow and Hochatown. It's not a ton of it. You can kind of tell with the cabins, just a little bit older in style, by and large, but when it comes to the location and proximity, which is what most guests and even buyers in the future are looking for, the proximity to the happenings, proximity to the, commercial establishments, little bar, ice cream shop, this, that, and the other. Proximity to the highway, access, etc., etc. A lot of folks are looking for super convenient access and a nice little commercial strip center plaza right there. So beautiful freaking cabins. I mean, come on, like beautiful cabins all around. And so again, let's say you've thought through every angle. I'm gonna help you figure out whether you should buy. Just because on paper, a lender says that you can be approved up here for a cabin loan. I mean, I'm going to share with you the reality of what it is like owning a cabin up here. And I might not sell the most, but frankly, you can trust me the most because, like I said, I'm going to talk you out of it before I talk you into it. That's the punchline there. All right, here we are coming down Luke Fada. We're actually headed east now, up Luke Fada, and this cabin is really, really a nice one. Nice example of a more unique, I'd say a more thoughtfully designed and more carefully built cabin. That rust bucket managed and I want to say even owned by Tin Star Management Company. All right, so again, there's just cabin roads up and down the majority of these. Just cabins all around, right? And I'll show more later, but we're gonna try to get into just one more cabin subdivision here before sundown. When you buy this, so again, here we're nearing Highway 259. This is the Mountain Fork Brewery here on the left, and this commercial plaza with a gift shop, Brokenbow, Hochatown Escape Games, First Bank, a winery, gift shop, I guess, Shuck Me, seafood and stuff, down Distilling Company, and that bar called the Tasting Room. All right. Ooh, big trucks. That way, no one's coming from that way. Let's go.